Hi guys, welcome to the video. Hope you're doing well. Well, as you can see from the video thumbnail, this video is going to answer the question, is this the best 32-bit 5-axis controller you can buy? Now, I'm not including industrial grade controllers here. This is sort of aimed at the sort of hobbyists or the guys that are really into it like myself. I don't have a 5-axis machine, I've just got 4-axis, but what I'll do is I'll put some video of it working in 5-axis and I think you'll be really impressed. I've shown a couple of guys down at the flying field the video, and that they were sort of well, gobsmacked by what it was doing. So we'll put a little bit of video of that in. It's really cool, that. So before we move on, guys, a full disclaimer. This was sent to me for review by Stefano from DevCad, who covered all the shipping costs and the cost of the machine. And it comes from a company called Hobbild, which is just down the road from DevCad. And when Stefano contacted me, I went onto the Hobbild website and had a look. And once I looked at it, it looked very impressive. So the main advantage it's got really is it's 32-bit and it's got 5-axis. Now it will work with the older 8-bit controllers as well, but this is a 32-bit version using the Arduino Duo. So you'll see that working, and it works absolutely brilliantly. So you'll see that in some of the demonstrations later. Now, I'm not getting paid for this review at all, guys. It's just my honest opinion of what this is like as a foam cutter and how it works, and you'll see when it's working, it does work really well. The part that's really impressed me is the wire temperature control. So we've got an LCD display on there showing you the voltage and the amps, and some of the cuts that have come out really nice. So I think Hobbild have done a fantastic job on that there, and we'll cover that a bit later, how it actually works. So what we'll do, we'll just give you a summary of what we're going to cover in the video. So first thing is, why would we use this controller? There could be a number of reasons depending on your circumstances why you want to use this, but so we'll cover that. We'll take the lid off and have a look inside. I've already got the lid loosened, so we'll take the lid off, have a look inside so you can see what it's actually like inside, and I think you'll be very impressed with it, as I was. Then what we'll look is how to wire it up, and the wiring is really easy. I mean, all we've got on the back, what we've got on the back there, we've got the 5-axis there, we've got our USB connection going in there. This is a connector for our hot wire, and then it's fused there, and as you'll see inside, this fuses internally as well when you get the top off. So it's been very well made, and I think you'll agree it looks very impressive, well, the way it's been made. So what we'll do then, we'll actually go into a demonstration of it working and showing you how it works with DevCNC Foam. So Hobbild recommend DevCNC Foam for this, and I would agree with that. It does work really well with DevCNC Foam. And probably the next video I'm going to do as well is I'm going to cover DevCNC Foam in a lot more depth, which I've shown it in some videos, but I haven't really covered it in much depth, so I'm going to do that in the next video as well. And then what we're going to do, we're going to answer the question, is this the best that you can buy? And spoiler alert, it probably is. And then what we'll do is we'll cover the costs. Now, there'll be chapters in the description so you can jump straight to them, but don't just jump straight to the cost first, guys, before you've had a look at what it can do, because I think if you do that, you won't do it justice. And yes, it's not cheap, but when you consider the price of models now, you can soon lose that in models. Just recently, a guy down at our flying field wanted to buy a model from Hobby King, and I think the model was £130. They wanted something like about £148 to ship it. you know, into the UK, which is absolutely ridiculous. So I think we might actually see a bit of a surge in people building their own planes again, because getting cheap models now, I think them days are gone, you know. And personally, in my opinion, building your own is much more fun. But that's just me, you know. Some guys just like to fly, some like to build and fly. So without further ado, we'll get on to doing the first section, and we'll say why will we use this, and then we'll get on to having a look inside as well. So see you in the next section. So in this next section, guys, we're going to look at why you might want to purchase one of these from Hobbild. Now, not only do they do the controller here, they also do the foam cutter as well. So you could buy the whole setup from them. So you know, if you look on the website, you can see the foam cutter there as well. I'll put some pictures up as well. So quite often I get questions from people saying, can you build me a foam cutter on all the electronics? And then you can see I've only got a very small workshop here. I don't have the facilities all the time to do that. You know, I find I don't have enough time to do what I want to do anyway, without, you know, having to build machines for people. So I can't do that. But Hobbild will supply all this for you, you know, ready to go. So if you desperately wanted to get into it, and you know, that can be a reason why you might want to buy it. The other reason is that you might want to use a 5-axis. So if we just turn on the back there, so we've got the extra axis there, the A-axis for the rotary axis. So if you wanted to do some foam cutting using 5-axis with a table in the middle, and as we saw in that video earlier, then that could be another reason to use the Hobbild. And it's all fully contained as well. Now, if the electronic size is a bit daunting, I'll just get up the controller. So this is a controller you've probably seen a few times on the website. So as you can see, there's a bit of a difference in the two. When we get the lid off there, you'll see the difference as well. They're actually using the same drivers, but this works fine. The only problems I've had with it, I've had a few loose connections and the thing stopped working, and you know, and if that happens in the middle of a cut, that can be quite annoying, you know. So and possibly I could make a better job of it as well, which I think I'm going to probably do that in a later video as well. But this is only running Garble, a version of Garble 8-bit, whereas this here is running the Arduino Duo 32-bit. So the differences are that Garble 8-bit isn't being developed anymore. It's only like bug fixes and stuff that they'll do. And there is a version of Garble now called Garble How, which is 32-bit, but that's a whole nother ball game, that. And so DevCad provide the firmware for this. So and that will be constantly developed as well. So if you buy this, you'll know you're going to be supported with the firmware for, you know, some time to come. So if you get any issues, and the DevCad software is very easy to use. So all I did initially when I plugged it in, and it detected it was the Arduino Duo 32-bit controller, and it just loaded the firmware up fine, and I was working in no time. So that might be another reason you might want to use it. So yeah, we all have our own reasons of that, and you just have to decide which is going to be best for you, really. Look at all the options. Don't just take my word for it. Do some informed research. And this is definitely, if it fits what you want, this is definitely a good option. So what we'll do now, in the next section, we'll actually take the top off and have a look inside, so you can see what you're actually getting for your money. So probably the part you've all been waiting for, guys, maybe. We'll have a look inside the box and see what we get. Now, I've already loosened the lid, taken the screws out to save a bit of time. So we'll lift the lid off. I've already taken some screws out, so don't say there's no screws in this fan. I've taken some out just to make it a bit quicker, so we can show you what's going on inside there. So the first thing that you'll probably be impressed by is how neat it is inside. There's actually a picture on Hobbild's website showing you a previous version they did where it was all wired, and I'll put a picture up of that as well. So there was wires, and it was a fairly neat job, but as you can see from this, there's very little wiring in it at all. So we've got just a few wires going from the power supply round to the main controller board here, and then up to the hot wire control here. There's a ribbon cable there. So to start with, we'll have a look at the main, the two bigger parts on top. So we've got here a 36 volt Meanwell power supply, and if you're into 3D printing or anything, guys, you know the Meanwell power supplies are regarded as a better power supply. This is I think is it 120 or 90 millimeter? Can't remember. I think it's either a 90 millimeter or 120 millimeter fan. I'll double check that and put it up on the below the video. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take this last screw out here. So guys, we've got the fan out now, and you can see a little bit more clearly now. I'm not going to take the power supply out of there because there isn't too much more to see back beyond that way, but I have done a little bit of video. I've actually put the GoPro in here so I'll put that on. If it looks any good while I'm editing, I'll put that in so you can see what's up the other end there. But so as you can see, as well as the fuse, we've got the external fuse, we've got two internal fuses as well. So what we've also got on the is the wire temperature control. We've got the a red LED there that's flashing, and also there's in here we have a beeper that's running, and there is a jumper there to switch that off if you find it annoying. And to start with, I thought I would find it annoying, but I did. It's not too bad actually, and it's almost reassuring to know that it's going. So I didn't find it too annoying. So, but you can switch it off if you want to. And what they tell you to do when you first get this, there's some full instructions from Hobbild. Before you plug your wire in, switch it to manual, and then take this setting right down to 0. Because if you plug your wire in, and this is because you don't know what setting it's going to be at, it could put too much current to the wire and blow the wire. And so you put it right down to 0, and then press save. And then when you plug your wire in, you can gradually bring that up. Now the wire that Hobbild recommend is nichrome 8020. I'll put the name up there, and this is actually 32 gauge, which is 0.2 millimeter, which is a little bit thinner than the wire I normally use. Now I have tried my own wire on it, and I did find, because the resistance is a lot lower on this wire than this wire, it was putting far too much current and getting too hot. But actually Ferdinando from Hobbild did actually supply some wire, and it works really well. So the thinner the wire you can use for foam cutting, the better, because it means you're not having to put as much heat in, and you're going to get a much better job. As you see from the cut jobs that we've got, I think you'll be quite impressed with them. I certainly was with using this wire, and I should continue to use this now. So that's the wire. So guys, because I'm not electronics expert, there's not too much else I can tell you in there. Some guys that know electronics a bit more will probably able to tell you a lot more what's going on inside there. But these are the, it's got the DRV 8825 drivers. And the only thing I had to do was just alter the settings, because my motors are only 0.9 amps, and Hobbild supplied it with them set to a 0.7 voltage reference, so I had to just turn them down a little bit for my motors, and it's worked absolutely fine. So we'll just put the fan back in on the top, and you can hear the fan running. It's not overly noisy, but it's nice to know it's running. And if we turn around the back, which I think we've seen before, we've got our settings. We've got our connections there for our USB. I think that's a Type B connection. I think that's a hot wire, and they did supply a connector for that as well, which I've wired in. And then we've got our axis. So this is aligned to the way CNC Foam refers to its axis. So in DevCNC Foam, these match up perfectly, and I think the way I think the default axes in the machine are the default axes in the machine are X, Y, U, and V. So I think I can't remember it's right or left, but it'd be either X, Y, U, V, and then A is the rotary axis. So I've only been using these four because I don't have a rotary axis. I don't think I will probably get one because I don't. For me, because my main interest is in planes, I don't really see any need for a rotary axis. But yeah, so that's basically what we get inside the machine. And as you can see, it's a very professional setup, and you know, I'm really impressed with it. It's made me want to do a better job at mine as well. So yeah, so that's a look inside the machine. So what we'll do now, guys, is we'll actually get onto the foam cutter. I'll get it all connected up, and then we'll show you it working. And I think you'll be impressed with it. I'm certainly impressed with it, and it should be my. Even though on the website we've got the Garble version, I should probably use this for some time to come now because I'm really impressed with it. And so on to the demonstration. Right then guys, let's have a look, see how it's come out. As you can see, I didn't get it perfect. I should have had them moved out of the way. I didn't expect it to go up over the top there, but this is only a test anyway, so I'll take all the parts off. So there's a scrap foam. Here's our aileron. So that's looking quite good. Make a real nice aileron that, and let's just knock the bits out the middle. And let's just get an 8mm drill. So I think this is as near as, damn it, 8mm. So you can see that. 792, I think, close enough. We'll see how that fits in the hole. Just slightly snug. So if we have a, yeah, it's going in, it's a bit, probably wants a little bit of tweaking on the kerf settings. So because I'm using different wire now, a lot thinner wire, my kerf settings are not the same as I was using with the thicker wire. But there we are, that's the Hobbild CNC Foam Cutter controller. Works absolutely fine. You know, I'm really impressed with it. So guys, we'll have a look at the costs, but just before we go into the actual costs itself, if you have a look at the cuts themselves, I've been really impressed with the cuts on this. I mean, this was the one you saw in the demonstration, and it's come out absolutely brilliantly. I mean, this foam is just like white polystyrene or white foam. It's just a grey in colour. Actually, it's quite good. And so in the next video, I'll be making a full wing next, so we can test the full thing out. This was one I did earlier. Now, as you may notice, on the foam cutter now, I've got a bow. I'm now using the bow method on here. This one here was when I was still using my spring method, and it worked to a point. And you see, it doesn't look too bad there, and it goes a little bit off. See, it doesn't look too bad there. But then when you see there, and what had happened, actually the wire had snapped. Because what it is, with it being thinner wire, and this was at quite an extreme angle, and it was just too much for with the tension I had on. So I've been wanting to try the bow method for some time, but I didn't think I'd had space, but I started looking into it, and then I've managed to get the bow method working, and actually it is a lot better because there's no tension on the towers, and the wires are well out of the way, so I'm not having to constantly watch the wires, they're not getting trapped. So the wires are coming down and just attaching there, and you know, following the bow. So it does work really well. So let's have a talk about the costs then. So you can buy the Hobbild controller in different forms. So you can get it without the box and the power supply, you know, which makes it a bit cheaper, and that comes in at €290. I'll put the equivalent prices up in dollars and pounds as well. If you want the whole box like you've seen in the video here, then that is €420. And I know that might sound a lot, guys, but when you consider the price of models now, it's not going to take you very long to recover the cost of the models. And Hobbild also do the full system, so you can get the foam cutter with all the electronics and everything set up ready, and that's €1,300, and that's an extrusion. I put some pictures up as well. That's based on extrusion, and I think I'm right in saying that might be a 5-axis version, but you'd have to double check with Hobbild, and I'll put their contact details on the description and on the website as well. So that's the cost, and yes, it might seem a lot, but when you consider what models are costing now, I mean, you'll soon recover that cost. So if you just wanted to use the controller with this setup here, or a setup of your own, there's quite a few 3D printed versions of these going around now. So you know, this part here isn't the difficult part. The part that's the challenge is the electronics, and then getting the software to do what you want. That's the next challenge as well. So for me, it's actually worth it. It's quality, and I know I've got this as to review and try without any cost to myself. But you know, if I was just starting out and I wasn't too up on all this type of thing, then it was something I was really consider as well. So you know, have a look at the website, and you might be surprised to find that Hobbild also do CNC routers as well, and they look very impressive as well. So let's answer the question we started out with at the beginning of the video. Is this the best foam cutter controller you can buy? In my opinion, yes it is. For what you get for your money and the build quality, then I think it's absolutely brilliant. And if I was starting out again, it would probably be something I would consider doing. Although I do like messing with electronics as well, so I would still probably do the other side as well. But yeah, so if you're looking for a complete solution, then I certainly give Hobbild a look. And for the sort of hobbyist level, or maybe even, you know, say if you're running a modelling shop and you're offering a foam cutting service, then I'm sure this would be absolutely ideal. And you know, I can highly recommend it. And as you'll see in the next video, we'll do a wing in the next video, and we'll see how that comes out. But I'm sure if this is anything to go by, it's going to come out really well. The wing I'm going to do in the next video will be, I don't know whether you guys have seen it, what they call a spec wing. There's a series, I don't think it's caught on in the UK very much, but a few people have built the wings. It's called FPV wing racing, where they have a standard design for a wing, and you build the wing to them dimensions, and they have everyone has to use the same motor and everything. So it's more on flying skills, and you know, who's got the most money to put the best motors in. So the wing looks really good, and you know, and all the designs are free. So I think that's what we're going to do in the next video. We'll use DevCNC foam to create that spec wing, and you know, see how that goes. So keep a look out for that one, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.